Okay. So I know it's been a while since we've said this because, quite frankly, most of the time lately, there just really hasn't been any excuse for our lateness.
I think it's these lights. That's why we're pale.
Okay, not what I was talking about at all, but I like your effort. That's why you're still here. He tries real hard, folks. Real hard.
Brandon, get other lights that don't make me look so dead.
A+ for effort. So I know I haven't said this in a while, but really, today we were like this close. Not to being on time, but to being like pretty close to on time.
We were like 5 minutes off or something. Like
7.
It was actually, okay.
We were about 7 minutes late, and basically I was dropping these sponsor spots into place, and this is really weird. Like this is kind of cool because I got a first-hand look into the inner workings of the mind of Windows 10, where XSplit, the program window, was here. You know what? I'll just. I don't think I have a scene where I can screen share with you guys. I will create one very quickly.
That's gonna get.
Okay, so I can see.
You got picture-in-picture that's gonna lag out super hard.
That's a pretty good computer. Should be okay.
All right.
Yeah. Task manage that shiz. 17% CPU, y'all. Yeah, that's right. 47. Wow, we put a 4770K in this, and that was all on Paul and Kyle's behalf, if I recall correctly, because the stream was dropping frames because we had 2 guests or something along those lines, I think. Anyway, so the point is, I could see my XSplit window. It was kind of here. I'm reenacting this for you guys, and I could see us moving around and things moving in the frame, and I could actually right-click on the desktop, number lock was working. But it was the most bizarre thing because I couldn't click anything, start menu wasn't coming up, and even pressing the front button was not resetting the computer, but number lock was working. I was like, this computer's responding. So I was like, okay, well, hard shutdown. Gonna bork my Windows again. Went to boot it up, and the motherboard's all like, oh, your CSM boot settings, it's stable.
You need to change these things to whatever if you want to do anything.
Go into the secure boot settings. I'm like, oh, not this again. So I set it to a bunch of things, and then I set it to full auto, and I reboot it again, and I kind of go, now just hold on a minute here. My voice isn't quite back yet, folks. And I go into the actual boot devices, and there's nothing in there.
No drive.
No drive? What do you mean no drive? Where's my drive?
Why not say there's no boot device found?
Right?
That's what my laptop was doing. I'm using John's laptop actually.
Yeah.
The M SATA drive in my laptop died, so I've swapped that anyways. No big deal. But it was just like, oh, no boot device. That's fine.
Where was that error, Asus?
Nowhere.
So anyway. So it takes me like 12 minutes or whatever to diagnose this. So I go down, I look at the computer, it's plugged in, so I kind of go, well, that's what happened. My SSD died while I was operating the computer. I don't ask for much from this computer. 2 hours a week. It doesn't even go into sleep. It shuts down. Everything but 2 hours a week.
And honestly, it's only really supposed to be like an hour and a half a week.
And it's on a UPS. So, like, it gets the best power in the building. I ask for so little. And it's just, no, whatever, Linus. Big old F you, Linus, because I hate you. And you know what? I hate you too, computer. Anyway, new SATA cable. Boots up. We're ready to go. But we're late. And on top of that, I just wasted another 5 minutes explaining why we're late.
We haven't even introed topics yet.
Making us even later.
Unless you've watched it on YouTube, you don't know what we're going to talk about.
I want a refund.
Can you get that?
For this show.
On time? Oh, wow.
I want a refund.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. I don't know. But what I do know is that Pornhub released some stats from their site showing that their traffic compared to typical averages lowered immediately after the Fallout 4 launch, telling us something that I'm pretty sure we all know. Tim Cook declares the end of the PC, ushers in the age of the iPad Pro.
Also, Broadwell-E specifications have leaked, and Pokemon Gen 1 is coming to 3DS.
3DS. Intro time.
Yeah. Oh my god, the intro worked.
The intro always works these days, man.
Wasn't it like 2 weeks ago that it didn't work?
This is so funny. People are like, 15% of the traffic was Luke.
Hey, I mean, that's fair.
Sponsors! Tunnelbear! Squarespace! Oh man, I gotta do something about that voice. Okay, see, this is the trick. This is the trick.
Yeah.
If I make it blank now, then it'll work next time. I just always forget.
We should have a script that just does that.
You know what we should have is we should have like a checklist for the end of the show, because I swear it has been a month since I've remembered to pull down the "Hey, we're live" tweet and Facebook post, and then inevitably people are like, "Hey, how come you took down the archive?" Okay, for one, the video is called "We're Live." It is not called The WAN Show. Okay, The WAN Show has been running for like 2 years. The WAN Show has never been called "We're Live." Not once. And number two, I understand your confusion, and it's completely my bad. This is my way of apologizing.
He likes to apologize by making you feel like it's your fault, but then also admitting guilt in some way.
Yes, that way works best for everyone. So let's get into it. You know, I'm at that stage where I'm like feeling pretty much better, but there's like a gigantic loogie somewhere between like my nose and my throat, like kind of in here somewhere. And like,
it's annoying.
Like you can't
really do anything about it.
Oh,
yeah.
I think I just swallowed it.
Oh, that's
better or worse.
In other news about swallowing, Pornhub.
Oh, you know, that doesn't happen much.
It could.
It could, but it doesn't.
There's probably like a whole category for that.
Probably, actually, probably. I'm probably just missing the right keyword. All right, so this was posted originally on the forum by Sam Fisher, and the original source here is from VentureBeat. Let's go ahead.
Sam Fisher, wow.
Screen share with you guys. So Pornhub's traffic dipped significantly the day that Fallout 4 came out, confirming once and for all that gamers, who are on the internet, sometimes on their computers, might occasionally partake in the Hub of Porn website. I think that's what it's called, right? Hub of Porn.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know much about it myself.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hub of Porn website. So,
okay.
So in the time after the Fallout, right here, I'm gonna go back to this graph. So in the time after the Fallout release, basically this is a traffic change among gamers specifically. So the actual dip is probably less significant because Pornhub has actually used Google data in order to segment their overall traffic into just the traffic that's also interested in gaming.
Well, that makes sense then.
Which makes sense.
That's almost too groomed. I wish it was overall traffic.
Nothing can be too groomed.
Oh, wow. Yes, okay. I wish it was overall traffic, not just gaming fans.
Me
too. Then that would be a way more interesting statistic.
It would.
I didn't realize that, and that makes this way more boring.
Yeah, so anyway, the traffic change after the Fallout 4 release, you can see it was down as much as 10%. However, after, looks like, I don't know what, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15 or so hours of continuous gaming, it was time for Pornhub and then time to go to bed.
Well, that looks like on the first night, they gamed a bit and then had a little...
No, that's 4 a.m. then 4 p.m. So that's a 24-hour period you're looking at. No, it's a little more. Little more. It's the 30-hour or so period.
Yeah. So the first night it comes out, they play a little bit, then they're like, I gotta go work in the morning, have some fun time, go to sleep, work, do whatever, play again the next day, and then now everyone's had a little bit more Fallout time, so they're more inclined to spend a little bit of time before going to bed doing other things, and then everyone's like, okay, whoop, and then go back to bed.
Okay, so this is probably going to be the worst straw poll we've ever done.
That's saying a lot.
So does a hot new game release
You should just go full bore and make it FAP on night 1 versus FAP on night 2.
I'm
FAP on
not
night
going
3
to do
versus
that.
FAP on night
That's
4.
just no. Does a hot new game release affect your schedule? So we're gonna go with yes, no, and really those are the only options because there's not really a whole lot to it beyond that. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop that in the Twitch chat. Love to hear from you guys about this one. I'm gonna go ahead and vote. Okay. Oh wow, the results are pouring in.
They're bouncing back and forth.
They are. Wow, this is people are. The two. Wow, everything is jockeying for position. This is the tightest poll that we have ever run.
Some might say warmest.
Warmest. No one would say that.
But possibly not most inviting.
Best groomed, perhaps. So we've got the majority of you, it looks like it's settling in a little bit. We've got the majority of you saying no, a hot new game release is not enough to get you off of your schedule, with a third of you saying yes, indeed it would. And 28% of you voting for Turnip the way you know you should.
Yep.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next topic here. I can't believe anyone even sponsors this show.
It's
sort of horrible. I mean, it's great, but in just sort of a horrible way. Or it's horrible in a great way.
Yeah.
I love this show. All right, so posted by Z-Mule on the forum. The original article here is from the Telegraph. You're posting links today, right? Awesome. Okay, we got this. Tim Cook declares the end of the PC and hints at new medical product. Okay, so I don't know. Wow, that's great. This article on the Telegraph has 1,600 comments. It's amazing how cyclical this whole argument ends up being. So anyway, I'll give you guys some context for this. So here's the quote. If you're looking at a PC, this is Tim Cook, why would you buy a PC anymore? No, really, why would you buy one? And then he continues, yes, the iPad Pro is a replacement for a notebook or a desktop for many, many people. They will start using it and conclude they no longer need to use anything else. Oh, right, we make phones. Other than their phones. I added that bit about, oh, we make phones. I guess we need to sell those too. The really weird thing here is Apple also makes PCs. Pretty decent ones, last time I checked. And also, last time I checked, their PC market share was rising, not lowering.
I can't
falling,
find
rising, falling, not lowering.
I can't find the graph, but someone made a infograph based on the people claiming that the PC was dead over time. And I forgot, I should have had that in here for this segment, but it's amazing because it's been going on since like a really long time ago. Like in like the PC space is exploding era. People have been saying it since then.
So why don't we take turns answering Mr. Cook's question here? If you're looking at a PC, why would you buy a PC anymore? No, really, why would you buy one? One answer at a time. Am
I first?
Yeah, you're first.
The first one's too easy.
Well, I think there's a lot that are too easy, actually, so go ahead.
Gaming.
Okay, gaming. You can game on an iPad Pro. It's the job.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. I am going to. We have to take turns.
I want to play games that can't be played on an iPad Pro.
Well, then you should probably lobby that developer to develop for the iPad Pro. The iPad Pro is extremely powerful.
Because the game, it's not powerful enough, though.
It's not powerful enough. Okay, all right. So you want a machine that can game and is powerful. All right. I got argument number 2. Maybe, just maybe, I want a peripheral that is not Bluetooth.
Well, you should probably
and does not require an external, like, dongle.
You should probably learn to use modern peripherals. You're just behind the times. This is going to get confusing for viewers.
My modern peripherals are just fine, sir. That is a stupid argument, and mine is a good one. Okay. You're next.
I need to have interesting input devices that I can't have on an iPad Pro.
That's basically mine rephrased. Try again.
No. Because of, like, capture cards and whatnot. If I'm rendering video.
I said I wanted peripheral devices that are not Bluetooth.
Were you not talking about keyboard and mouse?
No. It just meant peripherals. I could be a printer. It could be a printer.
Okay.
Printer's a peripheral.
Okay. I don't know enough about the iPad Pro to be completely
Basically,
fair.
it's a big iPad, and it's faster. What could you need to do with a PC that you can't do with an iPad?
All I really do with it is play games.
Right. Oh, well, okay. Well, fine. I'll come up with other things. How about an external display? Okay, what if I want to
Peripheral.
actually multitask? Okay, arguably that is a peripheral. So I'm repeating my own argument.
You said peripheral, which took way too many
Damn
things
it!
out of the argument.
Maybe he's right. Maybe he's right. What if I want to upgrade it? What if I want to upgrade it?
But that was part of the not fast enough thing.
Oh, crap.
Because we said it's not fast enough.
Okay.
And we said we want to be able to plug more things in.
We will come up with something.
And then games falls in under the same category as Windows only applications.
I need access to my file system.
You can't do that on iPad Pro?
No, it's just iOS.
I don't use them. I don't know.
It's just a big iPad.
That's pathetic.
They have changed nothing. It doesn't even have Force Touch.
I need massively expandable storage.
Okay.
Local.
The cloud.
Local.
No,
Local.
the cloud is the
Local.
answer to everything.
I need it to be privately secure.
In fact, the cloud is the answer to your gaming too. Cloud gaming, cloud storage, done.
I don't accept that. I need to be able to play my games offline. I need local secure storage.
I mean, I think we've made our point. I mean, to
if
try.
I knew more about what people actually use iPads for, I'd probably be able to have more arguments.
I think, honestly, that's a more interesting discussion at this point. Not what you can't do on an iPad, because that's kind of an endless topic, but what can you do on an iPad?
I don't use them. I literally don't know what you can do on an iPad.
You can shop on Amazon. You can check your email. It's all the usual things. I mean, the main difference here, okay, and we can use this. We can use this to springboard into, what the iPad Pro is as much as anything else, because my favorite iPad Pro review so far is this one over on Ars Technica, where I think the headline pretty much says it. Mac-like speed with all the virtues and restrictions of iOS, because it does bring some interesting new peripherals to the table. There is finally an Apple-sanctioned official keyboard cover, and the similarity to something like a Surface Pro type cover is definitely a thing. And they have the pencil, which is a stylus, but it is
Everyone's
a device.
Apparently, you just use an iPad for porn. But
Yeah.
You can use a computer for porn.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where, and we'll talk more about SteamOS later, but it's one of those things where I don't, especially with the way that it's priced, which is kind of beating down the door of devices like a Surface Pro 4 and even Apple's own MacBook lineup. At the kind of price that it's at, I just don't really understand why I'm taking a half-assed keyboard and no trackpad. It does have the pencil, so it does have a stylus, but it lacks any mouse or trackpad input. I don't understand why I'm giving that up for the sake of I can detach the keyboard, I guess, and the screen is bigger.
I'm trying to watch people talk about what they actually use them for. So far, I got keep all my school books in one place, which
So it's an ebook.
Or a laptop.
Okay.
One of the two.
Yeah.
Porn.
Yeah.
Your phone.
Yeah. Well, the screen's pretty small.
And that's it.
So, I mean, to me, this is not so much a problem with what Tim Cook is, I think, trying to say, and that's that the iPad Pro is everything that where's that other shoot. Where's that other quote? I think this was.
You can technically video edit on an iPad Pro.
Yeah. So it's
It's not
No, everything he said is just kind of wrong. He said, okay, yes, the iPad Pro is a replacement for a notebook or a desktop for many, many people.
If you use it within the right narrowed scope.
Yeah, so I think to say that for many, many people, an Apple is, I shouldn't say Apple, because I meant the fruit, not the company, but in the context of this discussion, that could be very confusing.
Orange.
To say for many, many people, a trackpad is a replacement for the mouse would be true, because functionally you can kind of use them for the same stuff, but I've said this before in my MacBook 2015 Retina review. I've got stuff to do. I need a mouse because it's faster and actually objectively better if you've like got stuff to do. If I'm just hanging around watching YouTube videos on my computer, I don't need a mouse because I'm not in a hurry. I've got all the time in the world. And I think that's kind of what's being said here. Yes, the iPad Pro is a replacement for a notebook or desktop for many, many people. If those people don't really have anything to do, or they're like, they need something to sketch on. But I don't understand why they're using this instead of like a Windows-based Wacom tablet, which has already existed for a couple of years for people who legitimately want to use the fully featured Adobe Creative Suite on a portable device with a legitimately excellent pen and digitizer experience. With that said, the overall feedback on Apple's Pencil stylus seems to be pretty good so far from reviews, but they're not out there in the wilderness, and this is really crazy. The iPad Pro is out, but the stylus is delayed again. So you actually would just be buying a big iPad with a keyboard. And I mean, this is another thing. Going back to the keyboard, like, I don't really personally think that an extra couple inches on the screen dramatically changes the iOS experience enough, combined with a keyboard, that this is a game-changing device. I mean, I personally, this is something I went through.
Less usable.
I personally went through the experience of back in the iPad 2 days. Logitech, and they actually have a new peripheral for the iPad Pro, but Logitech had a Bluetooth keyboard / hard aluminum cover, really nice accessory for the iPad 2. I personally bought hundreds of them when I worked at NCIX. I like busted my butt. I was like, this thing is going to be a hot mover. It takes everything that's great about the iPad and makes it so you can actually type on the damn thing. That thing was a disaster. It was so hard for me to get rid of them. And so what? So people have changed their minds that much already? I don't think so. So lots of people talking about, sure.
Oh, there's one extra word. Two extra things.
So, okay, go for it.
So lots of people in the chat are bringing up the horrible things that happened in Paris. Yes.
Wait, are we done with the iPad thing? Or are we completely changing? Okay,
we don't technically have to, but we've been talking about it for quite a while.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, we're done. So basically, in short, don't expect an iPad Pro review from me because I don't really care. It is not a PC. It does not replace a PC. It's a big iPad. And that'll be good for some things, like in a classroom where a bigger thing to read a storybook to the kids on the iPad might be nice. That's what I think it's for. Okay.
Anyways, super important, super terrible things happening in Paris. Yes, we know we're mainly not addressing it because we're probably not the right people to be addressing it.
We're still a tech show.
Yes, it is super important, and if you do want to be informed, I would very much recommend going and checking it out. I know there's at least 2 of the top things on the front page of Reddit are about Paris right now. Those are probably good links to go get yourself informed. I'm sure people in chat will probably be able to help you if you're looking for information, and you'll be able to find it all over the internet. It's a huge thing right now. But yes, we are probably not the right people, and I feel like if we spoke about it, we wouldn't be adding to the conversation, for one, and might accidentally spread misinformation, which would be the worst thing to do right now. So maybe go check it out.
In short, there are attacks, and Paris has closed their borders, and that's very much a developing thing right now. So I think it's safe for us to say, our hearts go out to the people of Paris. I love Paris. That's actually the city that I chose. That was my grad present, is I could go anywhere in the world for, I think it was like 10 days or something like that. Also, I had to take my mother. And I went to Paris, and it was freaking awesome, and people should not attack Paris. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
All right, so moving back to tech news, Intel's Skylake speed shift technology has been deployed. Now, this is stuff that was built into the CPU back when it was released, and this was posted on the forum by Numlock21. The article here is from AnonTech, but basically what this amounts to is a more advanced kind of a more granular version of the speed step technology that already existed that allows the CPU to dynamically adjust its power and speed settings as it's being used. So, so this is cool. So in the past, the operating system was fully in control of this process, and the CPU itself was just capable of all these different power states. Now, with operating system support, and this has been added to Windows 10, the OS can actually hand control of the frequency and voltage back to the processor. So in short, there's an Intel-provided graph here graph here that shows with speed shift enabled how quickly it can cycle up to different power states. So you can see the, I believe this is frequency. Yep. So this is frequency versus time in milliseconds. We are talking getting from a lower power state to the highest one in a matter of, what is this, like 15 milliseconds or something along those lines.
That's pretty solid.
Versus about 120 milliseconds without speed shift enabled. So this is going to be particularly important for things like mobile processors, where the difference between your base clock and your very low power steps when you've got speed step at its very, very lowest states to, say, battery. So this is going to make a big difference to the responsiveness of tasks when that mobile processor that has a huge disparity between its base and its boost clock is able to quickly go, okay, you're doing something, boom, I'm done, and oh, now I'm way back down. So, say for example, when you're navigating to a web page, that puts a very short, very sudden, very, very short term load on the processor. And now that will be able to take better advantage of the actual power that you've got under the hood of your device than was possible in the past.
Which can give you responsiveness in little tight timings, which can actually make your computer feel a lot faster than it actually, the change actually is.
Yeah, responsiveness is more important than, how quickly can you render out a video that is going to take either half an hour or 35 minutes or whatever.
Which is awesome, but that 5 minutes will feel like a much shorter period of time than because you'll probably go do something.
Yeah.
Compared to if you're sitting there literally staring at the screen waiting for something to load.
So this is cool. This tells us a little bit about it. So AnandTech ran PCMark 8 because somehow they managed to get that bloody program to run. I swear. And you know what? We must just be snake bitten because I love FutureMark. Those guys are nice, and I love most of the software that they make. But PCMark, man, every single time, people often ask me, why don't you run PCMark on your laptop reviews and stuff? Maybe 10 to 20%, maybe 30% of the time that I've just sat down and gone, okay, I'm going to run PCMark. It has worked. For a while, I was actually using the battery life test in my notebook videos. So I used it in, I think, 2. And then I went to use it for the Dell Rugged laptop. And it just 3 times just it failed. Yep. Just would stop working. It would just, the computer would go to sleep when the device still had 40% battery. I'm just like, this is not useful. Every
time we get to Scrapyard Wars, we get to deciding on one of those style of tests, I'm just like, oh dear.
And we went through, 3 different versions of PCMark.
To find one that would work.
To find one that we managed to run. And even then, I think this is spoilers. Okay, stay tuned for more Scrapyard Wars.
How is it still coming out?
It's still coming out.
I'm on the fan side on this one. It's way too long.
You know what? It was one of those things where it ended up being a result of us taking the whole thing and going, okay, what's good here? Because a lot of the time, stuff that was good enough to make it into this version ended up on the cutting room floor because of just time constraints last time. So I think the haphazard approach almost worked better.
The problem was because it was too light and then
last time had its own whole set of problems. I know. Yeah. So
we decided on this before we.
So we'll reevaluate and we'll take another crack at it, and that's pretty much all there is to it.
All right.
So anyway, there's some more benchmarks for speed shift that show that in some cases it does make a very significant difference. In other cases, it's much smaller. But yeah, there you go. Battery efficiency ever so slightly improved. I love those AnandTech guys. They do such a good job.
This is all good stuff.
Yep, all good stuff.
I doubt it's going to be a major game-changing thing, but it's cool.
What's interesting is that the OS can relinquish not necessarily all, but just some of the power state some of the power states, so it could control it within this range or that range or the whole thing.
Oh, that's cool.
Very cool stuff. Yeah.
Do you know if you're going to have to enable this, or is it automatically running?
That I actually
on the OS
don't
side.
know.
I'm assuming on the CPU side, it's probably enabled by default.
I suspect it works on its own. I cannot tell you.
The only thing that made me think of that is because you said it can do this or that.
All right, so this is interesting. I mean, this is something where it doesn't look like anyone can get any comment from, here we go.
From the director of whatever, Carnegie...
yeah, I think it's unlikely that they could have got
a... Did we intro the topic at all?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
So basically, word on the street is that the FBI paid Carnegie Mellon $1 million, at least. This is all very he said, she said, to break Tor. So the original article that we have here, this was posted by DatSpeed on the forum. The original article, there's the full-size ad, is from Forbes here, and so the Tor project is the one claiming this. And the objective, they are saying, was for the FBI to uncloak particular users and find their true IPs. So this is the team responsible for maintaining the Tor anonymizing network, and they're claiming that they paid $1 million to disclose techniques that they discovered that could help uncover the identities of users. Neither the FBI nor Carnegie Mellon have directly confirmed nor denied anything.
There was a talk that was supposed to be at Black Hat 2014 that was canceled from two researchers. Their names are in here somewhere that were from Carnegie Mellon. That talk was canceled and was directly pertaining to these kind of things. And people are wondering if that talk was kind of bought out by the FBI so that it wasn't released, and then the things that they were talking about in there were released. And that talk was about being able to unanonymize these people and find the hidden services, which is exactly what was done. So they do actually seem pretty well related.
Yep. So I guess that's pretty much all there is to really say about it. But
Ed, I don't know how to say your last name. Ed Desautels. Ed Desautels. Desautels?
Can I help you?
Desautels? How do you say that name?
Desautels? Yeah, it looks like a French name. Spokesman for Carnegie Mellon Software Engineering Institute did not deny the accusations directly, but told Wired, "I would like to see the substantiation for their claim," adding, "I am not aware of any payment."
Which is like...
basically like saying, I can't say anything.
Yeah.
The site Motherboard reviewed court filings that proved the FBI recruited a research institute that was running systems on Tor networks to uncover the identity of a user of Silk Road 2. So that's the drug marketplace that replaced the first version of the Silk Road. And I guess that's pretty much all there is to say about that. So nowhere is safe. Yay. Although
that's why you should run a local cloud, unlike that thing that you can do on an iPad, which is using other clouds.
Oh, wow.
Boy.
I guess we actually had a separate, you know what, it's probably worth going through. We had a separate topic for the iPad Pro. I did cover a lot of this, though, when I was kind of ranting about it before, but there are some good things about it.
iPad Pro again, bro?
Yeah, so this was posted by DatSpeed. Well, it's kind of a big deal because it replaces desktops and laptops.
Shit, that means like our jobs.
Yeah, I know, right? We'll just have to make videos about the iPad Pro all day.
Dude, I can put the iPad Pro in a bomb.
Okay. That will make more sense if you've watched his Fallout 4 build block. Yeah. Anyway, so there is some cool stuff. So the A9X processor, the same one that was found in the iPhone 6S, has now been overclocked. Just another way of saying the clock speed has been increased. So it's now even faster and actually quite competitive with Intel's real processors. Like, we're not talking Core M. It's legitimately looking pretty competitive with, a low-end Core i3, Core i5 dual-core. Pretty darn interesting stuff, and this is based on some browser-based benchmarks as well as Geekbench. It also shows little sign of throttling in the Geekbench thermal test, pretty darn impressive. And with the larger battery, thanks to the larger housing, it's able to achieve pretty darn similar battery life to previous iPads. Again, a very good result. The onboard graphics are looking very, very favorable. Beating every previous iDevice and every Intel GPU up to and including the Iris Pro 5200 and Intel HD 520. It does not feature 3D Touch, something that I'm personally pretty disappointed in.
That's brutal. 3D Touch is actually awesome.
Yeah, Apple's done a pretty good job in the past of maintaining their new features sort of across the product line as they refresh them. And I would have really expected that. And this is especially disappointing given that this is a device that, it's so funny, because Apple is always running around saying, well, no touchscreens for our MacBooks because that's awkward. So this is a device where we're expected to type and touch it.
Yeah.
And they're actually taking away input options from the touch input. Multitasking is still quite limited because it's running iOS. It takes around 4.5 hours to completely recharge with the included chargeware if not in use, thanks to its high capacity battery, and it starts at $800 US. The keyboard is $169 for a keyboard accessory, and the stylus is $100. So you've spent over $1,000 by the time you get even a base 32 gig Wi-Fi model. Basically, I wouldn't recommend buying it. I've given some pretty positive reviews to Apple devices in the last little while, including the iPhone 6s, but they're
doing really great on the phone side, especially with part of the reason why they're doing so great is that Android is just doing terribly in terms of security stuff.
Yeah, security stuff, OS updates, customer support. There's a lot of things wrong with Android right now. I'm super pleased with my new phone. Those of you who aren't following on Vessel won't know this yet, but I have officially switched to the Xperia Z5 Compact. I have done away with the Droid Turbo. It has officially happened after 11 months.
Like, you're actually going to switch?
That's done.
Wow.
I'm done. I'm done with the Droid Turbo. I think Taryn wants to buy it. So
that would be a good upgrade for Taryn.
Yep. Yeah, he needs a phone with a camera that works. So the Droid Turbo is definitely that. All right, let's move on to some Intel news. The upcoming Broadwell-E specifications have been leaked. This was posted by Mr. Troll on the forum, whose name is appropriate given that it's a news item on LTT forum linking to WCCF Tech. So there's actually, if this is true, and what I will give WCCF Tech and many of the other rumor mill sites out there, what I will give them is that typically Intel CPU rumors tend to be pretty good. Intel is a very, very structured company, and generally speaking, their roadmaps, like back when I was working at a retailer, their roadmaps are pretty far out, and like if they are going to be arriving, I think what was it, Q1 2016. Blah 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 blah.
Later in 2016.
Later in 2016. So the Broadwell EP Xeons are rumored for Q1 2016, with the consumer grade ones coming, I think it was later in 2016. So it would not be unlike Intel to have a year-out roadmap that they're showing potential partners under NDA. But of course, how long does it take for WCCF Tech to get their hands on that? So in a nutshell, we are looking at, once again, man, it seems like it took forever for them to get past giving us 6 cores on that platform. But we are getting another 2 cores for the top-end Extreme Edition. Cool freaking stuff.
One of the coolest parts, though, is that you can get an 8-core non-Extreme Edition.
Yes. So the top-end $1,000 processor is rumored to be rocking 10 cores and 20 threads at 3 gigahertz. So we're looking at a basically equivalent single-threaded performance in all likelihood, with essentially in heavily multi-threaded workloads.
That's 3 gigahertz non-turboed.
Yeah, non-turboed.
And we don't know the turbo.
And we don't know turbo clocks. So effectively, whatever sort of 25% performance improvement in heavily threaded workloads. Not bad from generation to generation. Heck of a lot better than the consumer stuff.
Yep.
Yay, we're getting treated like enthusiasts again. And then this is even more interesting, sort of, except that we don't know pricing yet, and that is that so the 6950X is the Extreme Edition. The 6900K is apparently going to have 8 cores and 16 threads.
Yeah.
So you won't have to buy an Extreme Edition to get the 8-core experience.
Which is awesome, but again, yeah, we don't know the price tag. But
we don't know the price tag.
Probably pretty easy to guess.
Well, I would have said that, except that this time around, Intel is going to have 4 SKUs in the Enthusiast stack. So for the last couple of generations, like 3 generations, 3960X, and then it was 3930K, 3820K. Then we had the 4960X, 4930K, 4920K, and in both of those cases, I believe they were all, it was 6-core, 4-core, 4-core? No, 6-core, 6-core, 4-core, I think, something along those lines. Anyway, so this time we get 10-core, okay, so 5960X is 8-core, and then both of the lower ones are 6-core, right? There was no cheap quad-core previously, that's right, they were 6 cores the cheap one is not a quad core this time. 6-core, 6-core. So this time you get a 10-core or an 8-core, and then there is no quad core. Very nice. So you get definitely something for your money investing in an X99 motherboard and quad core memory. Quad channel memory. So this time you definitely get at least 2 more cores for your money, and you could get up to also 6 or 8 or 10. But we don't know what the pricing is going to look like. And I wouldn't be that surprised to see Intel pull another Q6600 on us here. So back when they launched their first quad-core Extreme Edition, the QX6700, what happened was they initially launched the Q6600, which was their first non-extreme quad-core, at like $750 or something like that. Like, it was quite expensive. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that. And then another lower-end 6-core with kind of the other 6-core sitting in between that massive price gap that now exists between the 5820K and the 5930K. And the other thing we don't know yet here is how PCI Express lanes are going to be handled. So right now, while we do get a 6, or an 8-core, regardless of how much we spend, that bottom tier 6-core, instead of having 2 fewer cores, has 12 fewer PCIe lanes for worse expansion if you want to add a bunch of cards to it. So what I'm guessing is we're going to see that low-end 6800K be 6 cores and fewer PCIe lanes. I think we're going to get a 6-core with all the PCIe lanes in between, like that new one that didn't exist before, that new price point. Then we're going to have 8 cores with all lanes. Then we're going to have 10 cores with all lanes. So that's kind of what it looks like to me. I'm really super stoked on Broadwell-EP though. As some of you probably know, I've been getting more and more into Xeon stuff and like enjoying all the cores, and you know, whether it's using them for our video editing workflow or whether it's using them for running virtual machines where we took two gamers running on one motherboard, which is pretty freaking cool. So this is looking interesting, and this the official launch is apparently targeted for Q1 2016. So this is E5 2600 V4, up to 22 cores and 44 threads with up to 55 megabytes of cache per chip. Holy actual freaking balls. Not to mention that memory speed goes up from 2133 to 2400. So we're talking a dual socket machine with up to 44 cores. I mean, I thought it was bananas when we did our 36-core machine. I wonder what excuse I could find to tell Intel that I need two 22 cores. I'm going to have to come up with something.
Wait, don't you already have this?
No, I've got two 18 cores.
What about that?
Oh, no, those are, okay, so I do have, okay, so I've been teasing this for a bit. Okay, we're changing topics a little bit here. So, without revealing too much, I'm going to be building a very interesting machine. It will contain...
Keep going. I'm just trying to think of how you can get these processors. 7
R9 Fury Nanos. It will contain two 14-core Xeons. It will contain 256 gigabytes of memory, and it's all going to be on an Asus Workstation motherboard. The rest of the specs are sort of TBD right now, because I think if I said anything about the rest of what I'm putting in, it might reveal too much about the project. But expect that project to show up probably sometime around the end of this year, because let me tell you, it takes a little while to get all of that hardware coordinated, and it's going to take a fair bit of testing and configuration for me to get this whole thing working. So my CPUs are here, the RAM arrived today, the video cards are due next Wednesday, and the motherboard is, ASUS doesn't communicate. I just kind of go, hey, I need this motherboard, and then like 3 weeks later it shows up in the mail, and I'm like, okay, hey, we got it. Awesome, we'll do that project now. So stay tuned for that. Speaking of stay tuned for our sponsors.
Lynda.com.
Lynda.com. Lynda.com is the place to go to learn online. If you want to learn about like business or video editing or photography or...
I might even be using them again soon.
Really?
I used them for a bit before they became a sponsor, and a bit after they became a sponsor. And
what
now
are you learning now?
Again, video editing stuff.
Oh, that's right. You want to get into, like, you got like a camera and stuff.
Just mildly for fun stuff. One of the reasons why I wanted to get into it is just so I understand more about what's actually happening when we do things.
Right.
And even just kind of bringing it around with me over the last weekend, I know so much more.
Mm-hmm. What camera did you get again?
70D.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, Luke's decided to become a camera dork, meaning that I'm going to be the only one here who's like not a camera geek.
No.
Oh yeah, I guess Colton and Nick.
The business guys.
Yeah, the business.
You and the upstairs people. And John. And John.
I wouldn't be surprised if John knows a thing or two, but he kind of knows a thing or two about everything.
That's true.
Yeah, I wouldn't be that surprised.
Yes.
Anyway, so Lynda.com.
He's like Jack of all trades, but better. He's like the Jack of all trades plus.
He's Jack squared.
There you go.
He's like the Jack hole of all trades.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Lynda.com, you can get a 10-day free trial and try it out. We're not going to guarantee that Lynda.com is perfect for you, but you can try it for free. It costs nothing, and then their plans start at only $25 a month. So head over to Lynda.com/WAN show. Whoops. Whether you have a specific goal in mind, like something where you're like, I want to learn this, or whether you just want to browse around and kind of expand your mind.
Continued education is actually a very good idea for like a huge amount of reasons.
Yep. Like even as far as like, should your parents be using Lynda.com? I don't know. Are they old? Are they at risk of developing dementia? No, seriously.
Yeah, no, this is what I'm saying.
Oh, I thought you were like giving me a look. Like,
nope.
Are you really going to sell Lynda.com to potential, like, you know, as a cure for dementia? No, seriously. Not a cure, to be clear. But as a preventative measure, yes, being in good physical shape is just as important as exercising your mind as you continue to age, and even when you're young. It's always
Learning
good.
things is super important.
Speaking of learning things, you might want to learn how to build your own website over on Squarespace.com. Not that it's that difficult, because Squarespace's whole spiel is that it's like super easy to
build it beautiful.
Thank you, Luke. It starts at only $8 a month, and you get a free domain if you sign up for a year. It's trusted by millions, including some of the most respected brands in the world, like Linus Media Group.
Like.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna like moon the audience or something.
No.
I don't know. I don't know.
The logo.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Do I look like I know what you're going to do from minute to minute?
Sometimes.
So when you decide to sign up for Squarespace, after your free trial with no credit card required, by the way, make sure to use offer code Linus to get 10% off of your first purchase. The benefit of Squarespace is that the site doesn't go down and it grows with you, whether it's a blog or a store or a company website. I'm going to keep checking. Every time we do a Squarespace sponsor spot, I'm going to see if they've put our headshots on linusmediagroup.com.
They're probably not there.
I'm sure they're not there.
How is that still in?
Nope, they're not there. This is so funny. This is so outdated.
What we do is massively outdated.
I know. It's like
shoot is so old.
I know. So what else do we do? Wow.
Oh dear.
An unboxing. We straight up don't even do them anymore. Actually, you know what? Do we do any of these things? So we no longer do commercial production.
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time we did one.
Me neither.
We don't do unboxings. We do reviews. We do event coverage, although this overclocking event was a long time ago.
Yeah.
We do sponsored projects, things like the Fallout 3 build, Fallout 4 build log you just did.
Shots fired.
And okay, how many of these do we still work with? It's been a long time for SteelSeries. We haven't worked with Samsung in over a year. We haven't worked with Linksys since their very first sponsorship of our trip to CES 3 years ago. We definitely don't work with Hotspot Shield anymore. In fact, that brings us very tidily into our next sponsor, Tunnelbear. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, there were a number of reasons. Actually, there are a number of reasons whenever we drop a sponsor that we end up doing it.
Yes.
One of them is related to complaints from our viewers. When we get complaints, we don't work with our sponsor anymore unless they have a really good reason.
Or unless they address it very well.
So start browsing today privately at tunnelbear.com/LTT. Tunnelbear is the easy-to-use VPN solution that lets you tunnel to up to 16 different countries, allowing you to browse the internet and use online services as if you are in that different country.
For free.
Actually, that's true. Up to 500 megabytes, absolutely for free, with unlimited plans starting at $7 a month or $49.99 a year, which, if you can do math, is a lot less than $7 a month. That's like $30 savings, actually fairly significant. They've got apps for iOS, Android, PC, and Mac, as well as a Chrome extension. You just pick your country and you go, I want to be American today. I'm sure someone's done it. And you can access American Netflix and Hulu and all that kind of stuff as though you were accessing the internet from that country. VPNs can also be great for getting around firewalls because they do encrypt your connection. And in the case of Tunnelbear, they're using AES 256-bit encryption. So I guess that's pretty much all there is to say. It's super easy to use, and if you can't use it anyway, their friendly support bears will help you. Their friendly support bears will help you.
And you can save 10%.
Oh yeah, there's an offer code.
Tunnelbear.com/LTT.
Yeah. Is that link there? Yeah, that link. Go to that link.
Yeah.
And try Tunnelbear today.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move back onto the rest of the show here. What else are we supposed to talk about today? I don't even know.
There's Pokemon.
Oh yeah, Pokemon.
There's your tax rebellion thing.
No, this is actually okay. This is really interesting. Okay, he hasn't read this, but
I believe you.
This was posted by Trickstari on the forum.
Of course it was.
Our resident of tinfoil hat wearer.
This is such a topic for you, man.
I know. No, it's actually it's legitimately pretty interesting. So
no, I'm just saying it smells like him.
So the Welsh town Crickhowell, which is a great name for a town, by the way,
it is,
moves offshore to avoid tax on local business.
What?
Okay. So this is led by some traders, including the town's salmon smokery, local coffee shop, bookshop, optician, and bakery.
What?
And this tax rebellion could spread nationwide. Now, it's important to be very clear what they are doing. They are not trying to evade taxes for the sake of evading taxes. They so blah 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 up until now blah 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 etc etc etc. Okay, I can't find the quote that I was reading, but basically that is not the point. These are people who, presumably at least some of them, okay, proudly pay their taxes to support their country and the public services that they use. I pay a lot of taxes. Personally, and through the business, I pay lots and lots of taxes because I've been working since I was legal age to work with absolutely zero interruptions, having always paid my taxes. And I am proud of that. I am proud to support the social programs that we have here in Canada that take that tax money that I pay and build a road that not only I can drive on, but everyone can drive on. That is the way the system is supposed to work. Is the system broken? Yes, the system is broken. There are many, many significant issues in Canada and in many other countries, pretty much everywhere. There are many significant issues that exist with the way that taxpayer money gets spent.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a heck of a lot better than anarchy, and so I continue to support it happily, and I do not go out of my way to evade any taxes, and I'm proud of that. So that's not what these guys are doing either. Their point, and this is great, one of the town's traders discovered that he paid 7 times more in corporation tax last year than Facebook, which paid £5,000 in corporation tax. That is their point. Their point is, if this loophole is here, then fine, we're going to use it. And you got 2 options. Option number 1 is, okay, well, we're going to play by those rules and we don't pay taxes anymore. We pay very, very small offshore company taxes. Or option number 2 is tax those guys. They should be paying tax too.
They super should, and it's
So
super annoying.
this loophole allowed the likes of Amazon to pay 11.9 million on 5.3 billion of UK internet sales. Yeah, Amazon.co.uk is sort of a big site.
I think that's worded oddly. I think they're paying taxes on 11.9 million of 5.3 billion of sales.
What? No. Taxes of 11.9 million on 5.3 billion of sales.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Don't worry. It's all good. I don't know what Ghost is doing.
Me neither.
He's drunk. Okay.
That's why I was assuming there was something wrong.
Anyway, the point is, what Joe Carthew, who runs the local smokery, said is that until now, complicated offshore tricks have only been open to big companies who can afford the lawyer's fees. Now, we've worked out a way to mimic them. And they're basically, this is going to be a part of a documentary in 2016 as part of BBC Britain's Black Economy season. And they're basically going, okay, here's how to do it. So we're starting tax rebellion. If you want to collect any taxes from businesses, maybe it's time to start collecting taxes from everyone in a fair and equitable manner. I love it. This article made me so happy because it makes absolutely no sense that these companies are gonna, you know, threaten the government and go, oh well, we'll just like stop paying our lobbying dollars and we'll move our operations out if you make us pay taxes. Realistically, I don't see that happening. But it takes multiple governments forming a united front against this behavior in order to make it work. And so I do sincerely worry that it might not be possible. I don't know. Because if you're Apple, is it cheaper for you to pay tax properly on all your income, or is it cheaper for you to offer the entirety of your Silicon Valley campuses a massive relocation bonus to move to Canada or move to somewhere else?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how far this would escalate before it ended. And I don't know what the landscape would look like when it was over. This is actually, I have to confess, I had not heard of this. So this was posted on the forum by, oh no, I don't have a forum post. This is just an Ars Technica link. So beware of ads that use inaudible sound to link your phone, TV, tablet, and PC. So privacy advocates warn the feds about surreptitious cross-device tracking. This is some crappy stuff going on right here.
Yeah.
And I hadn't heard of this before.
If you're running software on a smart device, so basically as far as I can tell, that's anything that can have an app installed on it that can have Silver Push software running at the same time.
Yeah.
That would be able to listen. So a microphone of some sort. So probably your phone or a tablet, but probably your phone. Then that Silver Push software can be the audio beacon, and different devices in your house. So your computer, if you have speakers on it, your TV, most likely.
In the middle of a commercial.
Yes. Would be playing extremely high-pitched noises. I'd be interested to see if that's a frequency that dogs can hear.
Yeah, I wonder.
See if the dogs freak out when they hear it.
Your dog would be like, you're being spied on.
You could yeah, exactly. Your dog's like, no! Dog meat will save you. Anyways, Fallout 4 reference. It's going to play this crazy sound that you can't hear, but that your smart device that has Silver Push software on could kind of pick it up so that they can track if people are seeing these things.
Yeah, so this will tell advertisers, this will tell data miners so much more about you personally than was possible before. Because, when we talked about this, let's talk about the iPad Pro again. There's certain things that make sense to do on a tablet, and there's certain things that don't make sense to do on a tablet. So, for example, if an advertiser, let's say Google, okay? Let's say you don't use Chrome on your desktop, but you use Chrome on your iPad. So if all that Google knows about you is that you read game reviews and you go to Pornhub, then they'll go, okay, gamer porn enthusiast, and they might, try to figure out based on some, emails you send here and there, how old you are and what your gender is and all that kind of stuff. So they've created a profile for you. But what they might not know about you is that you watch...
what TV show you watch.
Yeah.
And when.
That you love watching Mad Men on TV, and that you're...
And whether or not you mute the ads.
That's right. So there's all these things that they can't know about you unless they know all about your devices. And the example given in the Ars Technica article, which was excellent, was maybe you would research STDs on your computer and then search for a sexual health clinic on your phone, and then you would travel there and come back, and then like now all of a sudden it could go, okay, you had an STD, you went and got treated, and now you're back home, and maybe you're better now, or maybe you're not, and it can continue to track your searches. Like, being able to track you across devices raises some serious privacy concerns, especially because tracking you across devices tells them exactly who you are. There's pretty much no way to anonymously submit data like, I went here, I went there, I live here. It's not anonymous anymore, and this is the scariest thing about it. Silverpush's software is used by 67 apps. And
which we don't know what those apps are, but totals 18 million smartphones.
Yeah, and what they've basically said is it is against our policy to disclose what apps are using our technology. What?
So, rip.
So any app that asks for your microphone and speaker permissions, potentially, I don't know. Any of 67 apps. Dun, dun, dun.
Super brutal, actually.
Yeah. All right, original poster here is Tangra, and the original article is from Ars Technica, once again.
My
I love Ars Technica. So this is so funny. I called this on WAN Show last week. I was like, it will take no time flat for the Linux army to attack my Steam machine review and tell me about how I'm missing the point because you can enable desktop mode and the blah, 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 Linux master race, etc. So it took like a matter of minutes, and I actually tweeted about it when it happened, but someone said something along the lines of, oh crap. Anyway, one of their points was that Linux game performance and SteamOS game performance is actually very similar to Windows. When I used the word significant performance tax or significant performance penalty or something along those lines, that wasn't my point in the video at all, because what I was really talking about was the Steam machine's how successful the Steam machine was at targeting the demographic that Valve seems to be targeting with it. So it was completely, I didn't even run any performance numbers. And you're wrong about the other thing, because whether it's Linux we're talking about or whether it is driver issues, the performance tax, so they were saying there was no performance tax or it wasn't significant. The word I used was significant, which has a very specific meaning, by the way. It is significant. Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor. Ouch.
Huge. That's so brutal.
So whether it's drivers, actually, I thought there were. Oh yeah, no, there are more. Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor.
The
Metro
medium
Last Light.
settings one, or actually ultra settings, is very interesting, but I don't know how many people are going to run it on that because it brings it from a very playable frame rate to a not very playable frame rate. But the one that I like looking at the most is medium, because it brings it from a probably above your monitor's refresh rate, which is great, to definitely not.
Yeah. And even Valve's own games, with Portal falling behind by like 30%, are not running on par. And the blame is probably, in some cases, probably the game developer, but in many cases, probably not. And the blame probably falls mostly with the graphics card makers. But the cold, hard truth is, hold on, I'm going to see if I can find a source for this.
One of my favorite things, okay, this is a little bit unrelated, but Metro Last Light Redux, and then they go to maximum settings, and it's like, doesn't run great on anything, unfortunately, because it's super hard to run. 9.5 to 4.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't find a source for it, but so I'm not going to give the number, but someone was telling me that they had heard AMD say something along the lines of that the Linux driver download percentage was very, 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 like lower than you'd think. Very, very low. The people who actually desire to run discrete graphics cards and Linux is very, very low. And I was really excited. I was actually like really, really excited by SteamOS when I first heard about it 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, it was.
Yeah. So and Valve's conviction in their movement to bring gaming to a more open platform, and I still admire Valve's commitment to bring their titles and to encourage other developers to bring their own titles to SteamOS to run on Linux natively. And And what's cool is for most gamers, remember, most gamers are still running 1080p or lower. Okay, so most gamers with decent hardware, and remember, they could afford $100 extra on a graphics card potentially if they don't buy Windows. So there goes your performance tax right there. You can just buy better hardware potentially. So most gamers running at 1080p are not going to demand the kinds of experiences that for now, things like VR or multi-monitor iFinity gaming, like some of those things that just don't work on Linux due to driver support right now, they're not going to need them. And there is potential for that movement to continue.
One thing about the driver download stat is I'm not super great at Linux. I use it fairly often, but I'm actually not super great at it. I think it's hard to say that you're super great at Linux, to be completely fair. Non-official driver packs are very, very, very common.
Yep, and the included drivers are generally better.
Yeah, so like
the
AMD driver statistic might not be accurate because they're very probably using something else. I think Mesa is a popular common one. But I could super be wrong. But I don't know. But like, you use other things to control your stuff. That's one of the reasons why people like Linux.
But that ties in really well with the end of my point, which is as much as I admire Valve's effort and I hope for success for Linux gaming in general, I don't think SteamOS is the answer because SteamOS is an arrow with no bullseye to move towards. Like, it doesn't know what it's targeting. It thinks it's targeting mainstream gamers, but like, then it throws a controller at you that not only is different from any controller you've ever held, but requires you to completely rebind everything in order to even play games. A process that can be done and is no problem for a power user. I was able to figure it out. It was no big deal. And it's very versatile. But Joe Xbox Gamer, I mean, if it's more complicated than like, oh, cool, a magnetic D-pad alternative, it's not happening. It's not happening. So,
and to be completely honest, sometimes I feel like being a power user, and sometimes I'd be like, yeah, I want to configure this to be like exactly how I want it to run for this exact game. And sometimes
yeah, but if I'm gonna play like Dirt Showdown,
yeah, exactly.
I do not want. I want to plug in my controller, and I never even want to open up the controller submenu. I want to click race, 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 quick race, go.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like vegging. That's why I'm playing a game.
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah, I'm going to want to tinker, but I don't want to have to tinker.
And certain gaming experiences are worth the effort of tinkering, quite frankly. It's just that for me, like a racing game or like a third person exploring game that's when I'm just like chilling. Yeah. And it's all my brain can do to solve whatever Lara Croft's breast physics puzzle of the day is or whatever else. Some of you have been asking about these shirts we're wearing. So it's teespring.com/WAN Christmas. And you can get it in a variety of colors. We actually went out of our way to choose ugly colors. So
that's kind of the point.
It's kind of the point.
Like they're called ugly Christmas sweaters.
Yep. Now to be clear, they are not sweaters. They're just t-shirt, or they're just sweatshirts.
Yeah.
But they're ugly.
What's the difference between a sweater and a sweatshirt?
A sweater is woven.
Oh. I had no idea.
Yeah.
That actually makes a ton of sense.
Pokemon Generation 1 coming into the 3DS. There's an announcement video. You guys can check that out if you're into that sort of thing.
And that's literally all there is to say on that topic. We don't know. There's been speculation as to whether or not, I guess there is more to say on that topic.
Yeah, there's lots to say about it, actually.
There's been speculation as to whether or not the old bugs will be in there, because there was a lot of them. And I don't mean like bug-type Pokemon. I mean like the Missigno and all that kind of stuff. You like that? Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't know, because I as far as my knowledge goes, a lot of those have to do with how things were stored in memory. So I don't know if that's going to translate properly.
Yeah, because these are virtual console titles for the 3DS.
Yeah.
But if you're emulating the Game Boy, then you could potentially emulate the way that...
I have never emulated Red or Blue. Have you? Have you tried any of the bugs?
I did not own a Game Boy or Game Boy Color. I have definitely played through Pokemon Blue.
I own 2 Advances.
I don't own an Advance, never did.
Oh, wow. I owned an Original, a Color, and 2 Advances. Maybe the chat will know. If you emulated, are the bugs still there? Okay. Brandon knows, apparently. And when you do emulate it, the bugs are still there. So maybe it'll work. I don't know.
Good job, Brandon.
Thanks, Brandon. Okay, Masigno definitely works apparently. So hopefully they don't screw with anything.
But they're fixing some stuff, so you can wirelessly trade Pokemon now.
Is that a fix?
Well, it's a new feature. Because you had to use the stupid link cable.
Yeah, but that's just connecting. That's connectivity of the device.
Well, that's a feature upgrade in my mind.
I don't know if that translates to the game or if that's just connectivity to the device.
Yeah, well, either way, it's an improved experience.
Cool.
It improves the experience.
I still have a link cable.
Of course you do. So red, blue, and yellow are launching, and there you go. It is February 27th, 2016 release. I'm not quite sure why it's taking so long, but given that emulated Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow have existed for a long time. In the
really long time.
The hardware performance, like going back to my my Napster days.
I heard Napster's coming back.
I think we talked about that. You know what is unrelated to this, but I kind of wanted to touch on. Apparently, they're doing an HD remake of Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
Are you for real? That game, how old is Twilight Princess?
Not
like
old.
6 years old. I have to look it up. Twilight Princess, blah, 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 blah. Wikipedia, thank you.
That's for the original Wii. Like, it's not
2006. What? I played Twilight Princess 9 years ago? Whoa.
We both just got a really old moment, I think.
Whoa.
I didn't even consider that like a collector game for me. I have it at home. I didn't think.
Huh.
We should move on so we don't feel so old again.
I was good. Oh, wow, crap. On NetLinked Daily on the NCIX channel, I was like ripping into them about doing HD remakes of a game that would have been HD if the freaking console had had any decent hardware in it, which is still true. By the way.
That's so brutal.
But I didn't realize it wasn't that old.
Oh my goodness.
T-Mobile is apparently going to let you stream some video for free. Another bold move. So they're calling it Binge On. Man, does he not look like some kind of serial rapist in every picture?
I was maybe not going to go that route. But
he's the serial rapist I love, that's for sure.
Oh, wow. Okay, whatever.
Look at him.
He's doing some stuff
look
for free.
Look at that scary face.
Other stuff happened in the news. EVGA is launching a 970 Fallout 4 edition, which is probably a little late and stuff, but the backplate's pretty cool.
We should talk more about the T-Mobile thing, actually. So YouTube, unfortunately not included. Neither is Twitch. They did say they are working with YouTube, but Netflix, Hulu, Showtime, Vessel, HBO Go, and Sling TV are supported.
I went to the Vessel offices last weekend.
Oh yeah, how was
that? There's some freaking cool people, and they have a cool modern office. We don't.
Our office is functional.
We have a cool office. It doesn't feel very modern once you walk into the Vessel offices. Their space is amazing.
Yeah, they're Silicon Valley though.
Yeah. We feel very like where we are, and they feel very like where they are.
It's like Linus Media Group, pragmatism. It's like, we have cool stuff, but it's cool stuff with a purpose.
Yeah.
Pretty much across the board.
Yeah. Their stuff has a purpose. I just mean like they have the flat floor with everybody on it.
Yeah.
Like the only rooms are meeting rooms, and then like the entrance area is like large, and they have extensive places to put like bikes and stuff. And there's a ping pong table, and they have a large
probably
kitchen.
A couple of electric car charging ports outside.
Yeah. They have a large kitchen which is stocked with like snack food and drinks if you need it. There's a
we have a large kitchen stocked with snack food. I don't put the snack food in it.
Yeah, I don't know. Their office was cool, and they're actually super cool. Yeah, I had a really cool talk with them. I said cool a lot.
So sorry, back to the T-Mobile thing. I wasn't done with that. So it is speculated that the reason that the uncapped video streaming is only offered on certain services is that it requires some back-end work to compress the data so that, you know, T-Mobile isn't going to be stuck with the bill for putting a bunch of 1080p freaking YouTube videos all over the place. So the idea is that it will be optimized for a small screen, which makes a whole ton of sense. That's really cool that Vessel's supported. I guess it kind of makes sense because it looks like Hulu is also supported, and Vessel is the former founder, I believe, or CEO at least of Hulu.
Yeah.
Hulu.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool because, like, I just kind of chat with him sometimes. And
he was in the meeting.
Yeah, it's like
he's a super smart dude.
He's a super down-to-earth guy, super smart guy, and it's just like I kind of forget when I'm talking to him that he's probably a multi-bajillionaire.
He's also like a big deal at Amazon at some point.
Yeah.
And stuff.
One of those like serial startup people. It's really funny. A lot of people on our forum underestimate the number of people watching our videos on Vessel and the impact that Vessel has had on our business, and underestimate Vessel's chances at continued survival. They are not stupid, they are not new, and they are not going away. So, yeah. There's a little tidbit for you. I guess that's pretty much it. You need to do a shout out for desertbus.org.
Yeah, okay. Where's the notes for that?
At the very bottom before sponsors.
November 14th, so tomorrow, Desert Bus for Hope is a charity marathon where
for some of you today.
Yeah.
Actually, in Europe.
But this is PST time, so.
No, it is Pacific Daylight Time. Or wait, no, it is Pacific Standard Time. Damn it, yes, it's Standard Time right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so, I don't know.
Yeah, -8 GMT, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Loading Ready Run is doing their Desert Bus for Hope charity marathon, which they've been doing for a long time, where they play Desert Bus, which is the worst, most boring game.
Careful.
Yeah. That's why I stopped. Maybe not the worst.
About
most boring
buses
game.
driving through a desert.
It's pretty rough.
Because there's some pretty bad games up there.
Yes. The bus, I don't remember if it either veers left or right, but it slowly veers one direction. So you have to just keep making it go straight. But I think it auto goes for you. And if you screw up, you have to restart the whole thing. And it's ridiculous. They're hilarious. It's tons of fun to watch. It's starting at 10 a.m. PST, Saturday, November 14th. Their charity website is just desertbus.org. It's on the screen. Check it out. Support cool people doing cool stuff.
Okay. On the subject of cool people doing cool stuff, I have done it. Not me. I didn't do anything cool. But what I did do is I put together a list of the cool people and the cool things that they did, and the after party today is going to be all about the honorable mentions and winners of Ultra Wide Festival. Yeah. So thank you for tuning into the WAN show today, and that is the outro.
Oh, I didn't get to wave.
There, you had enough waving? You good?
I was just going to go until you cut the stream. Damn it. Oh, wait, that's an overlay. I thought you put it in the corner. I was like, I have to keep going now.
We're discussing how show viewership was today.
Yeah.
So you guys are wondering. Boop-a-doop-boop.